welcome to Mars Musings of this week. This week I want to jump into looking at the bigger picture. And it came to me through a breathwork session the other week. Margaret launched these incredible cards. She's a dear friend, and I joined, and I really was not expecting this. I hadn't done a breathwork session in a long time, and it gave me that moment out of time and space, out of our home, everyday life, to see the bigger picture. And sometimes seeing the bigger picture puts everything into perspective. I think it's important for us, of course, we're planning for retirement. I've been talking a lot about making plans for the future, all of the structuring. But when we're in the little race of like everyday life, fears and decisions and whatever else you're facing, sometimes we can lose that bigger picture of why we're doing things, of what we're setting everything up for, of what we're structuring. And the important thing of this is to zoom out, to take yourself out. I would almost say out of that little life, out of you, out of that ego self, for lack of a better word, to look at, okay, where am I at? How far have I come? What have I created? And what else is happening, and where do I want to go forward? And this bigger picture really speaks to all the aspects of our lives, because the day-to-day, the running of the family, household, homes, work, challenges, everything that you face can be so minor when we start seeing the big picture and zooming out and seeing what is really possible and what else is out there for us. Another big reason that this came to me and I really wanted to share this is that a dear, dear friend of mine who's very young, in her mid-40s, got diagnosed with a benign tumor in her heart. And this growth was completely unexpected. And that kind of sent me back into a spiral of seeing, what would I be doing with the next 6 months of my life, right? I talk about retirement planning, I talk about saving for the future, which is so important. But if you don't get there, are you living the most fulfilled life that you want to live at this moment in time? Because we are not living for the future. We are not living for that next thing, but in the present moment today. And so those incidences together, and especially facing illness or facing the possibility of end of life or something, brings us back to the present moment to see, how can I reassess right now what I'm living, right now what I'm facing, and what direction do I want to put this into? And so I'm inviting you here through this Mars Musings of this week, more than money, retirement planning, and everything, to look at your big picture, to zoom out, to see where are you at, what have you accomplished, what is important to you, and to also look at how much you are living in the present moment. Because if something like that happened to you, I want to ask you the question, what would you be doing in the next 6 months to 1 year if you knew that there was no more time after that? Is there something specific you'd want to live, you'd want to put into the world, you'd want to express? Because I think that's the important thing next to do, and not to be caught up in the day-to-day rat race of the next things, but what is it that you want to put forward into the world or in your life or experience with people? And this brings me back to a study that Harvard has done, which is that the one thing that stays at the end of people's lives is the human connection. The one thing that stays is the connections that you build with other humans that are so important to you. So is this a moment, an invitation to look at seeing what bigger picture you can paint, what human connections you can make, and also what you'd be doing in the next 6 months to 1 year if I was calling you to that, saying, okay, this is the end. How would you be spending that time? And I really want you to look at that, because we are doing the retirement planning. We are doing the structuring for the future, which is important to look at. But also I want to take ourselves back here to see, am I living in the fulfillment that I want to live in? And how am I expressing that into the world? I would love to hear from any of you if you've had any insights of this, anything that's dropped, the coin that has come, sometimes the coin drops and you're like, wow, that's it. Or really learn from this, because I think this is an important thing to remember. And out of this Easter period, rebirth, when we look at what Christianity really stands for, the resurrection, I think that's an important moment to look at this. And of course, also the eclipse yesterday. There's a lot happening cosmically on many levels. And so I want to bring these questions to you as they are arising for me. I hope this inspires you. I'd love to hear from you, of course. And thank you so much for your support. Let's continue and let's explore life and live all these moments as they come.